Are you looking to take your personal finances to the next level? You're in the right place. Welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, with your host, Joseph Sangle.
Well, welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, and helping you live a fully funded life. My name is Joseph Sangle, one of your hosts of this podcast, and we want to help you win with your money so you can live that fully funded life. We are on episode number
185.
And that is the voice of my co-host, Megan Hibbert. Are you fired up today on this Monday?
Yes.
Yes, we're on the third Monday?
I don't know. It's the 17th. That's what I got.
Third Monday of the year, January 17th.
Yep.
And we're going to help people with different topics in this year. So tell everybody what we're going to talk about in this episode.
Yes. Okay. So we're talking about foundational elements of the ladder. And so in 2022, we're going to have a series focused on foundational elements of the fully funded life ladder. And it won't be an every week series. We'll spread it out throughout the year. But today's foundational element is financial coaches. Yeah. So if you've heard us talk about the ladder before, you know it's 9 rungs to a fully funded life. But before you can have the ladder, you have to have those foundational elements that keep the ladder sturdy. So we're going to start talking about those. That's
awesome.
Yep.
And I realized in my introduction that I said we're going to talk about a lot of different topics this year. That seems, well, I meant to say a series focused on different topics. And so I like that you kind of give some explanation of that. So a series means we're going to have, multiple episodes focused on a particular topic. And this is going to kick off the series of foundational elements that support your climb up the ladder. When you're going up a ladder, you want to make sure there's a real solid foundation under it.
Yep.
And so we're going to talk about these different things that help provide that concrete, solid foundation up the ladder so there's no wobble.
Nobody likes a wobbly ladder.
No one wants a wobbly ladder. Before we talk about that, we're going to go to my favorite section of the podcast. You know what that is. Let's go.
Now it's time to get caught up with our current money events.
The Monday Money Tip Podcast is sponsored by the Fully Funded Life Membership Program. The Fully Funded Life Membership Program provides all you need to begin winning with money and live a fully funded life. Fully Funded Life includes 4 key components: courses, challenges, coaching, and community. Courses provide financial education. Challenges help you make massive progress in a specific money skill. Coaching is provided by the Fully Funded Life Certified Coaches through open office hours held multiple times each month. All of the courses, challenges, and coaching results in an outstanding community that help equip, motivate, and encourage you to take your next financial steps toward your fully funded life. Fully Funded Life, courses, challenges, coaching, community. All that's missing is you. Learn more and receive a special offer for Monday Money Tip listeners today at fullyfunded.life/MMT. That's www.fullyfunded.life/MMT. Well, for today's current money event section. Did you like that?
That was good.
Current money event section. We are going to talk about something really unique, and it's called the EV market. Next item. That's the electric powered vehicles market. You hear about EVs. When you think of electric powered vehicles, what comes to mind?
A Tesla.
A Tesla. They have become the market leaders. Now, sounds like Ford's got some pretty good things coming along.
Yeah.
General Motors says they got some things coming along. And that's really good for us, I think. It's neat. I like innovation and all that stuff. But I was thinking about this, and this is why I wanted to make this a current money event section, is with the rise of all these EVs, we just got news that Tesla blew away the deliveries expectations. I think they were expected to deliver like 260,000 vehicles in the last quarter, and they delivered more than 300,000 of them. And demand is just rampant for these vehicles. And I've seen a lot of Teslas showing up. Have you seen them driving around town?
I mean, in our town, we see them pretty frequently, but for Christmas, I went to, my family lives in Raleigh, and it felt like every other person was driving a Tesla.
That's amazing.
It was wild.
So, and where you lived in North Carolina and where your parents live and a lot of family lives is known as the RTP, the Research Triangle area. And you've got all of these tech and medical and university towns.
Yep.
You've got UNC, North Carolina Tar Heels. You've got Duke, Wake Forest, NC State.
I say, notice you didn't include the one
State, the Wolfpack,
that I went to.
The best for last, right? Which is your alma mater.
Yep.
But here's what made me think. I like to talk about different topics. This is an investing topic. For all of my investors listening to the podcast, I'm thinking, is it possible that energy companies, boring, drab electric utilities like Duke Energy and all these, various power companies that are publicly traded and publicly owned utilities, are those going to become growth companies again? Think about this. Have you been to a Buc-ee's gas station yet?
I haven't.
I've
heard
about
about
to go
them.
one. I got to go to a Buc-ee's. I got some barbecue.
They have barbecue at a gas station?
It's unbelievable. Barbecue beef brisket. And you can also buy bags of corn seed and leather goods. It's really there was like 150 gas pumps. It was really extraordinary.
That's wild.
It was in like Alabama, I think is the one I went to. And I hear we're having one come to town in our area.
I hear that too.
But I'm thinking about all this gas we're using. And if Tesla's producing 300,000+ a quarter, and Ford and GM's going to get there. And there's some other companies that are out there too. NIO in China. And you get to where they're producing 1 million, 2 million of these a quarter and delivering them. It's not going to be long before you have 12 million of these cars. And how do they get recharged? You got to plug them in.
Yeah.
And somebody's got to make that power. And what's happening is fuel demands go down for those cars because they're replacing a car that was using gas. And now demand on power generation. So that's either nuclear power or coal power or oil power. I don't know how it's powered, but somebody's going to have to make some power. Maybe it's solar and wind. But it makes me think that these companies are going to grow again. They've kind of been the boring, they make a lot of profit, but they don't grow. Maybe they're going to become growth companies again. So I just wanted to share that I am becoming more of an investor in electric utilities. They pay a nice dividend, but I think they're going to be a growth company again. And so that is my unique current money event. Anything you want to say to that? Is that a neat one?
It is neat. Yeah. I am interested to see what happens with the batteries, though, on these cars, because apparently right now they last for 8 years.
That's what I hear. And
then they cost more than the car is going to be worth to replace it. So it's like, then what do you do with the car?
We just saw a person, did you see the news? That it was going to cost them $24,000 to replace their Tesla battery.
Yeah, so what do you do?
So they blew it up.
Yeah.
They blew it up. Some pyrotechnics company basically offered to blow it up, and it's on YouTube. You can watch it.
But I'm like, with all those, then what happens? So someone's going to have to come up with a cheaper battery alternative.
Makes me think that you've got a hot tip, which is battery disposal or recycling companies. That might be on the rise.
That might be on the rise.
Maybe we should start that company.
You never know. Yeah.
Megan Hibbard, CEO. So that's it for my current money events topic. Very unique, but it's an investing tip. Pay attention to the electric utilities.
Yep.
Growth companies.
I also, when I see the EV, I think environmental.
Yeah.
That's what.
Well, they do run cleaner. Yeah. But the thing that's making the power that allows them to recharge it is that running cleaner. Something's got to make the power that powers the battery power. There you go.
All right. Our success story today is from Kelley after she attended our financial learning experience at her church. We asked what things she learned during the FLE that was the most helpful, and she said, "Just one thing. Seriously, I learned more in 2 hours than I've learned in my whole adult life." Such a nice compliment. "I learned to have an emergency fund. That's why we've gotten back into debt. Things came up and we had no way to pay for it. I learned to talk to my boys about debt. We are parents of 3 boys."
That sounds like you're going to have some things in common with her.
Yep. "And we had to talk about things on Monday about how we're going to get out of debt and how we needed their help for us not buying stuff we don't need. We told them our prize for getting out of debt will be Disney World." That is a great prize.
I like that prize.
It will take us 3 years, but we're ready. My oldest, who's 8 years old, went to school and his teacher asked if anything exciting happened over the weekend. He raised his hand and said, "We're going to get out of debt." He was thrilled. I bet his teacher was so confused.
That is awesome. We're getting out of debt.
His teacher's like, what? He should have added, "So we can get Disney World."
And then she'll be even more confused. Like, wait a minute, what?
Is that going to put you back in debt?
Yeah. This is awesome. This is quite possibly the Funnest.
Yeah.
If that's a word.
Funnest. Most
the
fun.
Most fun.
Most fun.
Yeah.
I think that's the correct
success
way.
story ever. Kelley, that's awesome. What a great compliment. And I love that you're inviting your 3 boys into this. Your oldest is 8. Think about the lessons that he's learning. He's picking up on the enthusiasm of his parents. And this is a great lesson for all of us to learn and to be reminded of. Our kids are watching us. And what we're excited about, they're going to get excited about. What we are doing with our money, they're watching, whether we're intentionally or unintentionally teaching them. And so be like Kelley and be intentional on teaching them. We're excited about that. Thank you for sharing that, Kelley. That makes our day and our Monday. Can't wait to hear when you get to go to Disney World.
Yeah,
be sure to send us a picture when you're there with your 3 boys celebrating that.
And then you send us a picture, and on the picture, you should be holding a sign saying debt-free.
Yes,
that would be awesome.
It.
Okay, so like we mentioned before, in 2022, we're going to be having a series focused on the foundational elements of the fully funded life ladder. Won't be every week. We'll spread it out throughout the year. But today's foundational element is financial coaches. So we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, financial coaches. So this is a foundational element of a ladder. You need a coach. Now, quick, Megan, I want you to name some coaches.
Yep, I wrote a few down.
You did?
I did. So it kind of like, my mind instantly goes to like football. So you have like Nick Saban, you have Dabo Swinney. We live in the Clemson territory. You have Bill Belichick. I think it's just a name that like, I don't know. I just don't think good thoughts. I'm not a big Patriots fan, but he's like one of the ones you think of when you think of good coaches. But then you also have your financial one. So I wrote down your name.
Wow.
Yeah. Dave Ramsey is another financial coach a lot of people think of. So I wasn't sure. You can take it a couple different routes.
I would have thought, being from that area of North Carolina, you might mention Dean Smith.
I thought about it.
You might mention, Mike Krzyzewski.
Yeah, they're all like, we're
John Wooden.
Yeah.
But here's we can all rattle off some coaches.
Yeah.
We can also name some good coaches that are not household names. That coach that really impacted your kid in that soccer, helping them learn, or basketball coach or football coach, whatever it might be. But I want to ask our podcast family a very important question. If you're watching on YouTube, I want you to lock eyes with me. If you're driving, I want you to listen intently. Are you listening? Good. Hey, listen. All right, here's the question. Do you have a financial coach? Do you have a financial coach? Because a financial coach helps you do just like a basketball coach helps you make better decisions and become a better basketball player, a better teammate, hopefully become a better leader. A financial coach helps you become a better manager and leader of your finances. And so today, in this podcast episode, we're going to try to convince you to have a financial coach, and we're calling it 5 Reasons You Should Have a Financial Coach. Megan's going to share each one, and then we're going to have a conversation about it.
Yep.
So what's the first reason of our 5 reasons that you should have a financial coach?
All right, number 1 is bigger picture.
Yeah, bigger picture. Now, this may surprise many people, but human beings, we tend to have blind spots. I'm looking on YouTube, and I got blinders. And when I put up blinders, have you ever seen horses with blinders?
Yep.
Why do horses have blinders?
So they don't get distracted.
So they don't get distracted, right? So they don't look to the right or left. They look straight ahead. And humans tend to have blinders. And when I put this up like this, it feels a little weird, but I cannot see Megan anymore. It's really weird. And so humans have blind spots, and we may not know it, but we have them. And it prevents them from seeing something that's actually there. And we tend to get tunnel vision on what we know or think we know or have experienced in the past. And having a financial coach, well, they help us see the larger picture of our financial behavior, decisions, and options. If we're not careful, Megan, our extent of thinking about money is when is payday. Really, that's it. And how much money do I have left till next payday? And have I paid my bills? And next month, next week, that's all we think about. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Because life is busy, and
Very.
the kids are crazy, and they're very energetic, and the dog bit stuff again and broke it, and the car made a sound, and when do I get paid again? And all this stuff, and we get tunnel vision. And that coach allows us. They'll say, "Hey, stop! Wait a minute." The coach isn't there every day, but they're there, and they say, "Hey, let's look at the playbook here. Are you making progress towards retirement? Let's see how much money you've been able to accrue for that, how much you've contributed, how much of your investment's grown, what's happened to your net worth, what's happening to the value of your home. Hey, let's look at your insurance to make sure, okay, you've got children now. Do you have an appropriate amount of life insurance? Let's talk about whether or not the career you're in right now is the one you want to be in 5 years from now. And if not, let's game plan on how we can get you there. Hey, when do you want to retire? Maybe we can work on it. You say you want a beach house and a mountain house? Let's figure out how you can get there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So a coach forces you to see the bigger picture. That's the number one reason. We're not in order, but it is reason number one on why you should have a financial coach. Tell everybody what number 2 is.
All right. Number 2 is support.
Right. And support is important because a coach will support you through those challenging, tough, and really first-time financial decisions. And I'll never forget this moment where it's a really good story that I think is a good analogy for the support a coach gives you. And, everybody here knows that I like a particular color of tractor. What color is that?
Green.
Green. And it is what brand?
John Deere.
John Deere. I'm very loyal to that for some reason. And the reason is they run, and they just run forever. And so I built this barn on the farm. You've seen it. Mm-hmm. It's a red barn on the farm. And for that Christmas, I got a John Deere sign. It seemed really big to hang up in the rafters of the barn. And so I remember going out, and I was going to hang this up in the barn, and I put out the old metal aluminum extension ladder, and I headed up the ladder, and it was shakier than I thought. Now, it was on a concrete foundation, a solid foundation, but it was still wobbly because the rafter was open and exposed, and it kind of wobbly. It's spanning 30 feet. And so I kind of went in the house, and I said, hey, father-in-law, his name's David, would you mind coming out and holding this ladder while I'm up here hammering this thing in, screwing it into there? And he came out. Now, let me tell you, he's over 6 feet tall. He weighs about 300 pounds. He is a giant of a man. And when he got hold of the ladder, stunningly, the ladder stopped being wobbly or shaky. And he put his foot on the ladder, put both hands on the ladder, and I went up there with great confidence, installed the ladder. And I think this is a great analogy of what a coach does. Because just as David provided stability to the ladder, a financial coach can help provide support to you as you climb your own fully funded ladder to live that fully funded life. And so a coach supports you, tough decisions you need to make. So think about, people who provided financial coaching in your life, Megan. Mm-hmm. Name some ways that they've supported you. Like, think about buying a house. Mm-hmm. Who helped support you in those decisions that need to be made?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was we had people that had been ahead of us. So they had done it before. They had the knowledge of, the market around us. They knew, like, this is a good deal. You need to go. Did you have a
real estate agent help you?
We had a real estate agent.
Wow.
We went to people who we knew could provide solid, legit knowledge and, support and help us through this season. It wasn't like people that... It wasn't our friends that had never bought a house. Wasn't our friends that had, only bought one house. They're great people. We love them. They're our friends, but they couldn't help us in us buying our next phase house.
How did you find your real estate agent?
She's one of our really good friends, but she kills it in the real estate market. Yeah. And so it wasn't just, she's our friend, so we're going to use her. It was,
so did she help you establish a price on the house you were selling?
Yep. So helped us do that. Helped us negotiate our new house.
Did she help you get more money than maybe you thought you could on that house?
Yeah. When we sold our house, it was we were in COVID, but it was before the crazy spike happened. Yeah. So it was great for us because our house now would have been
way more.
At least
Tens of thousands.
Yeah, at least $80,000 more than
really $80,000 more.
Or $60,000. It would have been significantly more. Which is crazy. And so I think for us, the biggest thing that we look for is somebody who can provide that support. But as we're going to see, there's these next 2 things specifically that we're going to talk through that they were able to provide on points 3 and 4.
I think it's really important to bring this up, Megan, for our listeners, that a financial coach doesn't always carry the title financial coach. financial coaches come in lots of different titles.
Yeah.
So a real estate agent is also a financial coach with a very specific skill set.
Yeah.
An insurance agent is also a financial coach with a very specific skill set. A stock market investment advisor
Yeah.
is a financial coach with a very specific skill set. And I think that's really important. You know, many people listening to podcasts are suddenly relieved saying, hey, wait a minute, I have
somebody.
financial coaches.
Yeah.
Congratulations. But I want you to think of them as that because they're helping you with your finances in specific areas. But it's also helpful to have a financial coach who looks holistically at your whole picture. You know, I noticed going to a stock market investment broker only offers insight to investing in stock market investments.
Right.
They weren't saying you should buy a business. You should, buy real estate. So I found coaches who did that and looked more holistic.
It wasn't their lane. Yeah.
And they provided support. And one thing it's one of my favorite phrases I've come up with recently. So I just like to say it. I know I've said it in previous podcast episodes, but the thing that makes your knees shake and quake, the decision you're pondering, whether it's your first stock investment or maybe you're venturing into rental real estate or you're thinking about starting a business or you're thinking about buying your first house, whatever it is that makes you quake and shake. There are people who literally yawn making the same decision.
Yeah.
Why do they yawn? Because they've done it so much.
Yeah.
And so those people can be a coach for you and provide support that's good stability so that your knees don't shake and quake as much. Doesn't mean they'll stop, but that allows you to get the third thing of reasons why you need a financial coach. And what's number 3?
Well, and I would also say that it doesn't have to be their 9-to-5 job either.
Right.
So we are talking about a real estate agent and investing, like all that kind of stuff, but it can also be somebody who is
an aunt, an uncle.
Yeah, maybe they're a teacher, but they're just really great at personal finance, or they're just really great at investing, and you've talked to them about it. You've seen the confidence in them. They've been able to, they have the proof, proofs in the pudding, but they have that. And so it doesn't have to be somebody who 9-to-5 does that thing, but it could be somebody else that is just really great at that one thing.
And they're really great at it because of number 3 of 5 reasons you should have a financial coach. And what's that?
Number 3 is knowledge.
Right. Like knowledge. All those people you're just describing, it may not be their job, but they have knowledge.
Yes.
And, Megan, recently, several NFL jobs opened up. I don't know if you know that. Jacksonville Jaguars. Our beloved Clemson's Trevor Lawrence is coachless.
Yeah.
And no one, Megan, has called me to ask if I wanted the job.
Shocking.
Why? Well, there are many reasons why they did not call me, but the number one reason is I don't have the knowledge to do that job. Can you imagine me being an NFL coach? Hey, y'all, go out there and win the game, boys. Let's go.
Giddy up.
How come you did not win the game? What? We need a play? Well, here's a coach. He'll call a play. I don't know what it is. I don't even know the positions on the field. Go play the game. Well, see, I don't have the knowledge. Now, a great financial coach is great in part because of the knowledge they bring with them. So this is a good place to make a public service announcement. Don't ask a broke person to be your financial coach. And this is why it's important to have several financial coaches. Knowledge is hard to have all the knowledge of the world.
Yeah.
Don't have a broke person be your financial coach. So you need proof and evidence that this person that's coaching you is winning at whatever they're coaching with. But you should have several financial coaches because it's impossible really for any one person to know everything there is to know about all things financial. I have coaches for my businesses. I have coaches for my real estate investments. They're wildly different knowledge sets. It's hard for somebody to be really good at both.
Yeah.
And so I have, coaches on that investing side in the marketplace. Although I do a lot of that myself because I've built that knowledge.
Yeah.
But I still have coaching.
But
knowledge matters a lot.
But I wouldn't ask my real estate agent what investments I should make. It's not her lane.
Unless it was a real estate investment.
Well, unless it was real estate investment. Yeah. But I'm not asking her what mutual fund should I buy? What stock should I buy? I'm asking her questions about the market and the housing market and pricing and comps for my neighborhood.
And the local market. There you go.
Yeah, things that she's really great at.
So we've talked about how coaches, they help you see the bigger picture. They provide support. They bring knowledge to bear. What's the fourth reason of our 5 reasons that you should have a financial coach?
Experience.
Yes.
Key.
There you go. So I think we've really already proved this point with all of the examples we've used.
Yeah.
But coaches that have helped me with real estate investments, guess what? They've personally invested in real estate, like a lot of real estate. They don't wobble. They yawn while making the decisions. And as I said, the things that caused my knees initially to wobble and shake, well, they yawn doing that exact same thing because they had experience. And what experience does is it produces familiarity to them and confidence. And I want to borrow some of their confidence until I get the knowledge, right? And so that's really important. So Megan, you've now been part of buying 2 houses, right? So were you more confident the second time around?
Yes.
And you used an agent?
We did.
Did that help you have more confidence?
Definitely.
Because they had a lot of experience. You said they were killing it. So does that mean they've sold 1 house in their life?
No.
5 houses?
No. She had sold a lot of houses.
Right?
Yeah, and she had a bunch of, like, her last few years had been record years where she had, made great strides in the market and being able to sell a lot of houses. And there was just questions that we didn't know the answers to.
Yeah.
So we would ask her, text her, call her, and she didn't hesitate to tell us the answers and to fill us in on this is what's going to happen. This is what comes next. These are the papers you have to sign. This is what you have to do. This is what you have to provide.
I think this proves the point of why everybody needs financial coaches. And so let's wrap it up with the 5th and final reason.
Yep. All right. Number 5 is challenge.
Right. I mean, a great coach challenges their players. Pat Summitt, the unbelievable Hall of Fame coach at Tennessee, she challenged her players, won multiple national championships. John Wooden with UCLA challenged his players and won the national championship, I believe, 10 years in a row. Wow. Can you believe that? Lou Holtz challenged his players at Notre Dame and later on at South Carolina Gamecocks. And in the same way, great financial coaches will challenge you to make better financial decisions. The thing that I want to just encourage each of you listening to the podcast is think through your life. Do you have coaches for each area of your financial life? And do you have one that looks at it holistically? Because think about this. A coach won't challenge a player if he or she didn't believe the player had more and greater potential in them. Like if they didn't see that they had more potential, they wouldn't challenge them. So when you meet with a financial coach, what do you want to happen? Would you want to meet with the coach and they affirm everything you've done, pat you on the back and say, nice to meet you, and bye? Or absolutely not. You want them to point out the good things you've been doing, get some affirmation, but you want them to challenge you and open your mind and educate you and encourage you and support you with additional actions you could potentially take. And so, that's what challenging is all about, is not meanness. It is drawing more potential out of you. So summarize our 5 reasons everybody should have a financial coach. What are those 5 reasons again?
All right. Number 1 is bigger picture. 2, support. 3, knowledge. 4, experience. And 5, challenge.
Yes. All 5 of those are excellent reasons. Any single one of them should be enough to compel you to get a coach. All 5 of them, they demand that you should have a coach. So friends, podcast friends, do you have financial coaches who are helping you climb your ladder to live your fully funded life? And this is one reason why I love our fully funded life community so much. The fact that we're able to be hired as financial coaches that look holistically. And we provide those 30-minute coaching sessions that are included that people can sign up for. I've got some scheduled, this week. We're going to have 3 hours of 30-minute coaching slots, 6 of them, where I'm going to personally coach people. I'm so excited for it. And I'm going to answer questions, and then I'm going to challenge each of them in their journey, wherever they're at, not meanly, but kindly, knowing that they want to go farther. And so if you need a coach, man, I encourage you to go get coaches. And if you want one that will help you holistically, I'm going to ask you to hire us. We don't do a lot of sales pitches on the podcast, but today it's a sales pitch. There's a special offer that you can get as a podcast listener. Just visit fullyfunded.life/MMT. That's fullyfunded.life/MMT. IWBNIN.life/MMT. That stands for Monday Money Tip. And there'll be a link under the show notes. And also, if you're watching this on YouTube, it should be in the description below. Hire us. We want to help you live your fully funded life.
Yep.
What's our quote for today?
Yep. So we have a verse. It's Proverbs 15:22, and it says, "Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed."
That's right. I love it. Plans fail for that lack of counsel, but with many advisors, coaches, they succeed. I love it. Tell everybody what we're going to talk about next Monday. I'm really excited about it and nervous about it.
A little bit, yeah. So next Monday we're going to talk about cryptocurrency. So we've done a couple of our current event segments talking about it, but now we're going to have a full episode talking about it. So if you're interested or you've got questions or you're unsure, tune in.
We're going there. We'll talk about crypto. I can't wait. Hey, if you like today's episode, please help us get this podcast so other people can benefit. You can do it by rating our podcast and leaving a review. Those ratings and reviews help us make our podcast better for our listeners, help others discover it. If you've had a success story, hey, will you share it with us on any of our social media outlets, or you can email it to us directly at info, that's I-N-F-O, info at IWBNIN.com. That's info at IWBNIN.com. Also, we want to make sure if you're watching on YouTube, click that little thumbs up button. Leave a comment below. Hey, do you have a coach? What's one thing that has helped you most by having a coach? We would love to hear from you. And also click that subscribe button. That helps us as well. Hey, thanks so much. I hope you have a great week. Go get a coach this week, and we'll see you next Monday.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review and subscribe. And for more great content and to stay up to date, visit IWBNIN.com. We'll catch you next time.